In this episode of the Motor City Hypnotist podcast, we are continuing our series, and it ended up being a series rather than 2 episodes. We're talking about antidepressant medications.
Yes.
Different kinds, how they work, and a lot of my clients have questions when they come in and they're depressed and they're like, well, what's the medication? And there's so many variables, but we're going to cover that. Again, this is episode 3. So if you didn't listen to the first parts 1 and 2, you can listen to this one and jump back or do them in order, whatever. And as usual, we're giving away free stuff. Hang in there, folks. We'll be right back.
This sounds like something for the authorities in Detroit.
Well, joke's on you. I'm living to 102 and then dying, like the city of Detroit.
Guys like this antique over here out of Detroit.
Spawned in the hellfires of Motown. Take him to Detroit.
No, not Detroit. No, please. Anything but that. No.
Stationed in Drambuie. It's worse than Detroit.
We did not have, as a unit, the confidence that we felt like we needed to beat Detroit.
Let's go to Detroit. Now you're talking, brother.
I don't think so. He plays for Detroit now.
Do they have many farms in Detroit?
Detroit. It's in Michigan.
I go to school. I know where Detroit is.
Get ready for the Motor City Hypnotist, David R. Wright, originating from the suburbs of Detroit, Michigan. He has hypnotized thousands of people from all over the United States. David R. Wright has been featured on news outlets all across the country and is the clinical director of an outpatient mental health and hypnosis clinic located just south of Detroit, where he helps people daily using the power of hypnosis. Welcome, the Motor City Hypnotist, David R. Wright.
What is going on, my friends? This is David Wright, the Motor City Hypnotist. We're here with another episode of the Motor City Hypnotist podcast.
Yes, you are.
We're hanging out here in the palatial Podcast Your Voice Southfield Studios.
Yes, you are.
That is Matt Fox, the other voice you hear.
Yes, it is.
Hanging out, having some new drink tonight. Something August brought in, and kind of enjoying it.
So, for those of you that may not know, August is part of the Man Cave Happy Hour, and he found some really good half-off deals.
Yes,
that can only happen by decision from a Meijer location.
Right.
And he found Legent,
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 and is reminiscent of one of your faves, which is the Basil Hayden Dark Rye.
Yes,
and that's what you're sipping on tonight.
Yes.
So August found this, and he put it on the Man Cave page, and he's like, "You should pay attention to what's going on out in the marketplace." So here we are.
Well, and just for those of you who like whiskey and bourbon, little known, and I didn't know they did this, that sometimes if they have an overstock or something that's not moving, they get permission from the state to sell it at a cheaper price.
They have to ask for permission.
Yes. Correct. But it's worth looking for at your local Meijer or Kroger. Just and again, this is something I didn't know because August said they're also required to post the list so the customers can see it. So if you're in your local grocery store, look for a list or ask somebody, because you might be able to get a good deal on some, I'm not going to say top shelf, but this is really good.
Yeah. It's drinkable.
And for $20. I mean,
game.
Yeah. Easy.
So here we are.
So let me tell you folks where you can find me. My website is motorcityhypnotist.com. We are approaching fast prom and grad season. We're only about couple of months out. I'm in Iowa 3 weekends in a row in April. So if you have a post-prom or a post-grad night and you need entertainment, now's the time. In fact, I just got a show inquiry today, and I just happen to have that date open. So now's the time. The schedule's filling up fast, but I do still have open nights, believe it or not.
That's great.
So typically during prom grad season. So prom, it's really weird. And I think I mentioned this on the podcast. The Detroit area does grad night parties, lock-ins, like all night parties.
Yes.
Sometimes they won't go all night. Sometimes they'll go to 2 or 3 or whatever. But other areas in the country do this on prom night, rather than graduation night.
Well,
so
they'll do the dance and then the lock-in.
And then the lock-in. So they keep all the kids safe so they're not out driving or drinking or, doing any tomfoolery, So, yeah, but other areas have whatever, but it doesn't matter where you're at. I travel. I do a lot of traveling for shows. So
the fact that you're driving to Iowa
3 weekends in a row,
weekends in a row.
See, and here's the thing, Matt, I would fly, but it's honestly,
it's cheaper to drive.
It's cheaper to drive. And honestly, the hassle of packing for a flight and having to check my sound equipment, that's the challenge.
Yes. Do your fellow hypnotist a favor and book him.
Yes.
To a point where he can drive to you and do what he does best.
Absolutely.
Enough said.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Book him.
Check it out on the website. You can have a quote within minutes and book it within minutes. So check that out, especially if you're in need of an entertainer for your party, your grad night, or your post prom, or anything. I'm focusing now on prom and grad night because that's coming up, but I do a lot of corporate shows. I'll be at the Ogama County Fair this summer in August.
Were you there last year?
We were not there last year.
2 years ago.
Yep. Okay. So I'll be back at Ogama County Fair up in West Branch in August. So I'll throw that out there. Just, you guys can come up and see me. You can hang out. Maybe we can do a podcast from there.
You know what? Give me dates, buddy. Give me some dates.
I'll check it out. We'll see.
I can do an overnight.
Yeah, absolutely. My Facebook and YouTube are Motor City Hypnotist, and my Snapchat, Instagram, and TikTok are all Motor City Hypno. That's HYPNO. And as usual, going all the way back to episode number 1, I think we're on episode.
Gotta be 230,
327, something like that. I think.
Oh, nice.
But we've done this all the way back to the beginning. Text the word hypnosis to 313-800-8510. Within a few moments, you'll get a text with a downloadable PDF. It's a hypnosis guide that I've written. And you'll also get a link to my Google business page where you can leave a review. And again, reviews are super important. I know, and this is, I struggle with this myself. A lot of times I will go out and have a great experience and I'm like, man, that was fantastic. But typically people only leave reviews when they're a negative or when they're angry or when they're disappointed.
I had this experience this past weekend. Holly and I went out for dinner. We were at a local establishment. It's a chain. Okay.
Yeah.
And the waitress, the server, she comes around and at the end of the night, I told her, you've done a great job tonight. And I tipped her well.
Sure.
Because there's no more tips on taxes.
Right.
But I tipped her well. And I told her, you did a really great job tonight. And she said, well, thank you, as if she's never been told that before.
Really? Yeah. See,
but leaving a review is so important because we always focus on the negative. You gotta change your mind and focus on the positive every once in a while. If you have a great experience, tell the individual and tell the establishment.
Yep. And reviews help us because people see reviews. They base honestly anytime I go on Amazon and order something I haven't purchased before, I read the reviews. That's just what you do.
Sure.
And if it's 99% negative, then I probably won't buy it.
Right.
So anyway, text the word hypnosis to 313-800-8510. Get your hypnosis guide and leave a review. That would be fantastic.
Thank you.
All righty.
Here we go.
It's time, Matt.
Winning is done.
All right, so
all righty,
here we go.
So it's our winner of the week. This is one of our favorite segments. I don't know when we started this. It was close to the beginning.
It was,
but again, it's just great stories about good news, and as we just mentioned about reviews, people tend to react negatively, and then they'll complain and they want to tell everybody about it, whatever. But these stories are just good things that are happening in the world. People being good, people doing good things, very positive things.
But we have, all right. So I'm excited to hear about the winner of the week.
Yes.
What we have to stop doing is questioning.
Oh, the winners of the week.
The winners of the week.
But here's the thing with any story you read, sometimes you're just going to have questions. But it's just,
But the questions that we have focus on the negative. That's why we have to stop.
Well, not always.
All right,
but
not always, but we tend to be like, but why?
Yeah.
But who? And come on.
Okay, so
Who is
this
it?
story
Yes, please.
comes from the Scottish Highlands.
Okay.
So we've done a lot of stories about dogs rescuing human beings
Mhm.
in the wilderness or in a snowstorm or in a mountain or
Off
whatever.
cliffs, off cliffs. Yeah.
This is different.
Okay.
This time we're reversing roles. A hiker saved a dog.
Game on. Let's go.
In what was noted to be a bit of a reversal of traditional roles, a dog was rescued by mountaineers after spending a frigid night in a hollow below a mountaintop.
The dog found a hollow on a mountaintop.
Mhm.
Okay.
5 dogs and 4 hikers were approaching the summit of Fionn Bean in the Scottish Highlands near Achnasheen recently when their dogs fell through a cornice, a term for a large buildup of snow on the edge of a cliff face or overhanging ledge.
Yes. Okay.
The hikers rescued 4 of the imperiled pooches, but Aggie, a 5-year-old spaniel, could not be found.
No.
She had fallen into a hollow below the summit. The next morning, Dundonald Mountain Rescue Team assembled along with Aggie's owner and a local deer stalker to find her. A deer stalker. Is that a real thing, Matt? I've never heard that term before.
Is it DEER, deer?
Deer, like the deer animal.
So
a deer.
they're stalking deer.
They're stalking deer.
Wow.
I just never heard it termed that way. But anyway.
Okay, I heard hunter, but go on.
Yeah. It didn't take them long once they arrived at the point where she fell through the cornice. A rescuer was lowered with a rope down into the hollow where Aggie, no worse for wear after a cold night, 3,000 feet in elevation, was happy to see someone. Team leader Lane Nesbitt said the incident highlighted the risks posed by cornices, wrote the BBC. The ledges of snow form in strong winds and overhang the edges of steep slopes and can be difficult to spot.
Right. Yeah. Especially a white one. I see a picture that the spaniel is white.
That is the story. Yeah. So it is a spaniel. I'll hold it up. Those of you on Facebook Live can take a look at the picture.
There she is.
There she is with the rescuer.
So she was rescued.
She was.
All right, good.
Yes.
So when they found her, how did they find her? I'm just
they know where she fell. Like they saw her go down this when this cornice collapsed.
She wasn't harnessed in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, probably not. Yeah.
And she falls through this crevasse and she's sitting on a ledge and they rappel down and they find her.
Yeah.
And they bring her back up.
Yep.
That's amazing.
Yeah. That's about it.
Because the owner said, "That's my puppy. Go and get her."
Well, and the fact that they had a group of dogs with them.
Right.
I mean, these are probably all pets of some sort.
Sure.
But I know this sounds melodramatic, but it's just like soldiers. Leave no one behind.
No, absolutely.
Go back for your dog.
To focus on the positive, these human beings took the time to rescue
an animal.
Yep. That's the positive part. You could have questions, but these people felt enough about this spaniel, this puppy, this female puppy at that.
Yep.
And they're like, "Hey, we know where she's at. Let's go get her."
Yes.
That's the positive.
Well, and the good thing is, again, just based on the story, she fell through this. They had to go back the next day. So it was a good, probably 12, 14 hours till they got back. And thankfully she was still there and still alive. So definitely winner of the week.
Thank you.
That's how winning is done.
Love it.
Yes, it is.
So back to it.
There we go.
So this is part 3.
This is part 3. So we're talking about antidepressant medications, and we've done episodes 1 and 2.
It's a tough topic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because medication in itself is a very tough topic to begin with. But when you're talking about antidepressants, what's going to get people over? You see so many commercials on TV.
Oh my gosh.
About weight loss, about, a supplement to your antidepressant that you're taking and you have been taking, but this might help. And you're having to wean off one, wean on another. There's so much involved with antidepressants. So where are we at in part 3?
Okay. So let me just quickly review. On parts 1 and 2, we were talking about just in general, the types of antidepressants and the history of them. Again, just to review quickly, before the 1950s, there were no antidepressants. Antidepressants were discovered when they were trying to formulate a drug to treat tuberculosis patients.
Sure. Yep.
And they found out just happenstance that when they gave this medication to people with TB, their mood improved. So after some research, they thought, oh, this will help people with depression.
Mm-hmm.
And then we talked about different types of antidepressants, how they work. We've talked about SSRIs, SNRIs, TCAs, tricyclic antidepressants, and MAOIs, which are the earliest.
We covered a lot of
and
ground.
then atypical depression or atypical antidepressants. And those are kind of things like Wellbutrin and Remeron. Those are 2 brand names of atypical antidepressants.
Sure.
And the reason the atypical ones, the reason they call it that is that it works more on dopamine and norepinephrine, and it tends to have fewer sexual side effects as well. So that's a plus for the atypical antidepressants. So a lot of the things, a lot of people will come to me, especially clients, especially if they're depressed and they've never taken medications before. They're like, well, should I even do this? Do they work? And that's one of the big questions I get.
Oh, yeah, they work, but you have to put the work into it.
Yeah. Well, and we mentioned, and we did cover some of this. So we're going to be maybe covering a little bit more, but that's okay.
That's fine.
So here's the thing. It has antidepressants take a while to build up in your bloodstream. They're not like an immediate acting medication. So it takes about 2 to 6 weeks to get the full effect
of
Dave, an antidepressant medication.
But Dave, I want to be fixed, or I want help now.
Correct. And that's why you do therapy. That's why, again, in our practice, if you see our psychiatrist, Dr. Singh, for medication, you have to see a therapist. That's our policy.
Right.
Because medication is not an answer. It is a tool. And you combine that with other tools to get better. So we did talk about that as far as it taking us,
we did,
about a month or so to start working.
And I don't want to go off brand. I don't want to go off on a tangent, but that is the mentality of the world we live in today.
Oh no, people want instant results.
Instant gratification
absolutely
is where people are. But when they hear it's going to take 2 to 6 weeks, they're like, but with a comma in there. And that's where you come in.
Well, and I will say, Matt, just pretend you're my client.
Yes.
You come in, you're depressed.
Yes.
You've had suicidal ideations. And I talk to you and I say, listen, have you ever taken antidepressant medication?
No,
it's
I
something
haven't.
that we could use as a tool to help us work to get you better.
All right. So as a patient, as a client, I would say, yes, I've tried it in the past, but I haven't really felt different. It hasn't made me feel different. And I don't know as to what's going to help me. That's why I'm looking for that instant gratification.
Correct.
And here I am, and I'm still having those ideations. And I'm still thinking about, things that should have happened that I'm not looking forward to the next day.
Right.
And that's where that depression is really is going to set in. It's just going to, I don't want to say hold one back or hold me back. If I was a patient, I'm looking for something. I'm looking for results. I'm looking for somebody to help me understand and be empathetic at the same time.
Right.
Being empathetic, you don't have to agree with them.
No, not necessarily.
No, you need to understand as being empathetic. You need to understand where they are. So that's where your psychiatrist, Dr. Singh, comes in. He's like, all right, so help me understand what you have done.
Exactly.
And what you're looking forward to do. And that's where these antidepressants will start taking effect. It might take 2 to 6 weeks.
Correct.
But you have to put the work in.
But I always say to clients, okay, it might take 2 to 6 weeks. How long have you been feeling this way?
Oh, years.
Okay, there we go. So I'm telling you to give me a month to give this a chance.
But it's been 2 years.
it's okay, because we're going to work in the meantime on other things to help you get through to that point,
Okay.
to see if this is going to be effective.
But
and we did talk about too, again, with antidepressants, because there are so many different classes or types of medications.
And thank you for that.
Because a lot of times, and this psychiatry is not an exact science.
It's not.
It's not like saying you go to the doctor, I have a headache. Here's some Tylenol 3, whatever.
Oh, damn, that's strong.
Well, maybe. I'm just throwing out a general example.
Take it or leave, brother. Come on.
Or I have high blood sugar, so I have to take diabetic medication. It addresses a physical deficiency.
Here's a bear.
The difference is, this is not a physical thing. Well, kind of it is. It's a physiological thing. It's your brain chemistry.
Correct.
Yes.
Anything you swallow, anything you put in your mouth is going to change the chemistry of your body, your brain.
Yep.
Anything that you put in your mouth is going to change.
Well, in fact, that's why opioids are such a problem, because they work physiologically, but they also work in your brain.
Yeah.
It's a feel-good chemical.
It subsides pain receptors. It was anything that, if you have a pain in your foot, there is something for that.
Sure.
Yep. And it's going to block the pain receptors that are in your brain.
Correct. Well, in fact, when I do a lot of hypnosis with clients who come to me with chronic pain issues, and it's amazing how much we can change things just by thinking about it. Just by focusing on your brain and the way you think and feel about it. Because hypnosis is very effective at managing pain. It is. And I've dealt with numerous clients over the years, and they say to me, it's just different. I just feel better.
So let me ask you this question.
Yep.
When it comes to the hypnosis side, they're seeing Dr. Singh, they're going through, they're taking their steps through that process.
Right.
Where do you come in on the hypnosis side?
So really, I use hypnosis as a tool, just like any other thing would be, just like mindfulness techniques or medication. So I kind of use hypnosis as a tool to say, okay, we're gonna work on just being able to just kind of quiet your mind, because a lot of times with depression, there and many, probably majority of the cases, there's associated anxiety that comes with it, because of the worry and they kind of go together. So I always kind of focus on, okay, we need to change your frame of reference. We need to change the way you think about things. And the quickest way to do that, honestly, is with hypnosis, because we can just do that in a couple of sessions and just train your brain to think differently.
For a lot of folks, and I love what you do, but for a lot of folks, they for lack of a better term, they'll poo-poo it.
Oh no, they would, because they think it's, well, I constantly, Matt, I probably told you this, or I probably said it on the podcast.
Yeah.
When I travel, or like when I'm traveling for shows or whatever, they'll say, what are you doing? I'm going here. I'm doing a hypnosis show. I'm like, oh my God, is that real?
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I've been faking it for 30 years. Nobody's caught me yet. Thank goodness. So it's because, I mean, that is the initial gut reaction.
Yeah.
Is like, oh, come on. That's got to be fake, right?
But when it comes to cessation for smoking, or
right.
But we're talking about depression. We're talking about a lack of a better term, again, an epidemic across the country.
Absolutely. Well, and I can give you a couple of good examples of things that seem totally physiological, not mental.
Yes.
There's a study done in the UK, and they were doing hypnosis with dental patients who were having procedures done. So they would hypnotize these dental patients. They wouldn't get gas. They wouldn't be knocked out.
Really?
It was just to get through this process without feeling pain.
That's amazing.
Yes.
And this was a study that was done in the
absolutely.
UK.
Yep.
So so there was no pain meds.
No pain meds.
No Novocaine.
Nothing.
And they're drilling away.
Yep.
And it's Bill Murray in a chair.
Yeah, absolutely. And
with Steve Martin drilling.
Yes,
okay,
absolutely.
All right.
And in the study, the hypnotist would be there talking the client through it and just saying, you're whatever. I don't know what the language was, but in my head, I'm like,
you're on
a beach.
Yeah, you're on a grassy knoll.
Yeah,
the sun is
it's peaceful.
Yeah,
you're just relaxed. Yeah. So no, it can be very effective. So the other thing about antidepressants, and a lot of clients respond with, is there are a lot of myths and misconceptions.
Yes.
Just like with hypnosis, antidepressants have the same challenge. So one of this comes up a lot with clients. They're like, I don't want to take a medication that's going to change my personality.
And that is another denomination, another misconception around taking medication for antidepressants. It's going to change who they are.
Right.
Oh, I'm happy-go-lucky, and now I'm not. You know,
but the point is, if you're happy-go-lucky, then you wouldn't be depressed. Do you know what I mean? Those can't coexist.
I said happy-go-lucky as someone who's happy with what they're doing, but they know there's something wrong.
Okay, fair enough.
You can't be depressed and be depressed. And I say that in a way of, you are dealing and you are putting a persona in society. Personally, you're with your friends and you're exonerating yourself, and you're like, hey, I'm here and I'm doing these things and I'm happy, but when I'm behind doors, I'm not.
Well, and honestly, Matt, that is something that we all kind of deal with. Most human beings become chameleons when they need to be. They'll portray in public everything's great. I call it, and I'm sure somebody else has come up with this. I don't think I invented or coined the term, but it's social media identity.
Okay.
And we do it in person just the way we do it on social media. We portray what we want people to see.
I said the word exonerated. That's not that.
No,
that was not the right word.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say is that you present yourself differently when you're with friends or when you're out, hanging out or what have you. But when you're behind doors, when you're in your home, you are a fucking mess.
Yep. And sometimes that is a mask, and a lot of people are able to do that. Sometimes people are not able to do that. In severe cases, they might never leave the house because they're so depressed.
And I feel for those folks. And when that's when you hear about, people that you graduated with from high school and college, that they're committing suicide.
Yeah.
And it's so difficult. Be like, well, I just saw them a month ago.
Yeah, and they seem fine.
They seem fine.
Right.
And but you don't know where they're at in these steps of, if they're going to therapy and if they are taking antidepressants.
Correct.
You don't know these things unless you're very close with them.
Correct. And if they want you to know it, again, because that a lot of times people keep that private because they feel ashamed about it.
And in my lifetime, I have a lot of friends that have not been with us, who are not with us anymore. I'm in my early 50s, and it's becoming prevalent.
Yes.
And it's really disheartening that they may have been going through steps, but it may have not been enough.
Correct.
Because they didn't believe in it, or they weren't being treated well enough.
Yeah, there's so many. I guess there's so many holes we can look at, because
I don't want to focus on the negative. I want to focus on the positive here.
So the first myth was they change your personality, and I'll say in most cases that's not the case. I mean, I can't say 100%. But here's the thing. When people come to me, when they start taking this medication and it starts working, they do say, I feel different. Absolutely, you're going to feel different. But it's not a change in your personality. It's actually emotional stabilization. And because you haven't been stable emotionally, it's going to feel different. It is. It's going to feel different than what you typically would feel. It doesn't mean that your personality is different. It just means your mindset is different. So if somebody's been severely depressed for many years and all of a sudden they feel calm or they feel happy, they feel like this is not me, because they've identified, they've taken that sad, depressed feeling and they've assumed that's them, that's their personality.
And Would you consider that a mistake?
As far as assuming that?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I mean, when you're feeling that, that's what you feel. So you don't.
But you're 2 to 6 weeks into this, and you're
Correct.
and you're changing. You know your mindset has changed, but the persona that you have put out there in society maybe has not.
It's a challenge sometimes because when people start to feel better, it's foreign to them.
Yeah.
They don't know what to do with it. So yes, I understand. It can be a little bit jarring, maybe, or a little bit disconcerting.
It's a change.
Yeah, it's a change for sure.
It's a change, and a lot of folks are not comfortable with change.
Yep. Even if your current status quo is crap, to change it is that can be difficult.
Mhm.
Yes, it's different. It's
You can have some very personal, positive changes in your life, and no one knows. If there's no reason for them to know.
No. Right.
You need to be you and
Yes.
let your therapist, let
Mhm.
your hypnosis,
doctor.
your doctor,
Yep.
let them do what they do best.
Yes. Exactly.
And just continue on. Don't worry about the outside influences that are coming at you on a daily basis, every single hour, whatever.
Mhm.
If you're into the social media or what have you.
Yep.
Don't let that change your perception, right?
Yep.
Just let it work.
Yes, absolutely. So one of the other myths that people kind of talk about
Yes.
is that antidepressants might be addictive.
Well, that's a myth. It's a misconception,
Mhm.
but it's not wrong.
So let me put it this way. Antidepressants, they're not addictive the way substances like opioids or benzodiazepines are.
Okay.
There's a physiological dependence when you start taking opioids.
Okay, and that say dependence and
I mean, dependence is addiction.
yes,
Yes.
that's what I'm saying.
Right.
Is dependence is addiction.
But antidepressants don't have a craving cycle. And when I
Okay.
say that,
okay, craving is it okay.
yes. And I think that's the key thing to look at it. There is no craving cycle with antidepressants. With opioids, there's a definite craving cycle.
Yes,
for sure.
Absolutely.
So
I can't survive without this.
So I can tell you that now people might say that about antidepressants. They might say, you know what? I need this to be happy.
Yeah.
To be
me
comfortable. Yes. But it's not an addiction. It's not a physiological craving.
But that's where a lot of folks that don't understand the difference between addiction and craving. Cocaine, okay. I have a great one-liner for you.
Yes.
Cocaine.
Yeah. And
it's a one-liner.
Oh.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah, I got it.
The addiction is drug induced and blah blah blah, but you don't crave it. You're not spending your house on an addiction.
You could. Many people have.
If you're 8-balling, yes.
Well, I'm
okay.
just saying, heroin addicts typically don't have homes.
When it comes to antidepressants,
no, antidepressants, no, not like that.
But
again,
that's the craving. You have to have it because it's going to make you feel better instantly. That's that instant gratification.
Okay, but that can be mental or physiological.
And we're focused on the physiological.
Yeah, but with antidepressants, even though you are feeling better, if you were to stop, you're not going to have a physiological withdrawal symptom.
Okay, all right, and again, there's another difference, right?
So. In a physiological sense, they're not addictive.
Okay.
Now, they can be very useful and beneficial, and you might feel like, I want to keep taking these because I feel better, but that's not an addiction.
Let me ask you a layman term.
Sure.
Cold turkey. What if you stopped what you were taking? Cold turkey.
With antidepressants, typically there might be some physiological symptoms, maybe mood shifts or flu-like symptoms, possibly.
Okay.
Again, it depends on the antidepressant, how long you've been on them.
Sure.
But it's not going to be like physiologically dangerous.
I'm not poking holes. I get it.
No, but these are good questions, Matt, because these are questions that people have.
Yeah.
these are things that people want to know.
I'm just helping folks to understand.
Absolutely.
You have to ask questions.
Yep.
Because if you don't, that's where it's going to take you to a different avenue.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I just want them I want them to feel better, not get better. I don't want them to be perfect. Nobody wants to
nobody's perfect.
No. And that is where a lot of people, I just want to feel like I'm myself again. Well, where were you when you're 5 years old?
Well, but again, and that, even with that statement, if you were a client, Matt, I would say you want to feel like yourself again. So tell me when you were yourself.
At 5. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Well, no, but people might say 5. They might say when I was 20. They might say when I was 30.
When I peaked in high school at 16.
So I say I always kind of say you change. Age changes you.
Absolutely.
Experience changes you.
Yeah.
You're not going to be the same person now that you were at age 15.
When were you in your best you?
See, that's a better question, because now people can kind of quantify. Oh, my 20s, I was just on top of stuff. I was confident. I was good.
I just came up with that off the top of my head.
And that's a good question.
And people struggle to pinpoint when they were the best themselves, because everyone has peaks and valleys.
Absolutely.
Just like the economy, every 7 years, right? But
there's always market corrections. What happens.
When were you your best you? And that is a legitimate question.
Well,
to ask.
and to be fair, a lot of people would have a difficult time answering that, because
honestly,
I don't know. When was I the best me?
In my early 20s, I was living life. I was going to clubs. I was having a good time,
Well, yeah, you were having more fun then, but we were a better person then.
Of course not.
Yeah, exactly.
I was effing everything around.
Absolutely. That's kind of my point.
Get to your mid 30s. Yes, I had kids. I had a home, and I was living life. Yeah.
Yeah.
So everyone is different in that realm.
Absolutely.
And that's just a very big question to ask.
Yep.
When did you feel you were your best you?
Yeah.
That's
a good question.
That's where the antidepressants really should come into effect.
Yes.
And say, okay, here we are.
Absolutely.
And just to not to minimize, but to break down what type of antidepressant should we take.
And we'll get into a little bit of that now. So you know what, folks, we're going to do a part 4, because we have a few more things here.
I elongated
and I mean, we could just condense it into one episode, but we have other info. We have another winner of the week. We have another.
Come on.
We have another Detroit dog rescue. But before we go,
who we got?
Those on Facebook Live, we're going to do one more episode. Those of you listening to audio, stick around. We're going to do one more episode.
Please.
I'm sorry. Those of you listening to audio, skip ahead to the next episode. If it's not there, it'll be there Tuesday or Thursday. So,
who we got?
Somebody needs a home.
Who?
Tang.
Like 1980s
Tang.
It's a kitty
cat.
Oh my God. What the?
Sorry.
Come on. No.
I'm covering the name. Tang.
Oh, come on.
So Tang was born in 2020.
Okay.
Domestic short hair, neutered male.
Okay.
15 pounds. Dog, cat friendly, unknown. Kid friendly, over the age of 8.
Are they dog friendly?
Unknown.
Oh, cat friendly?
Unknown.
Come on.
Yep. Hard to say. But for those of you who like cats, I know typically we always do dogs, but every once in a while we get a kitty. So,
white
Tang needs a home.
White, orange. Come on. That's a pretty.
Yeah, it's a pretty cat.
Yes, it is.
DetroitDogRescue.com/adopt.
Thank you.
All righty, folks. That is our episode for today. Join us for Antidepressants Part 4 coming up. In the meantime, change your thinking, change your life, laugh hard, run fast, be kind. We'll see you next time. In this episode of the Motor City Hypnotist podcast, we are finishing up, I promise, antidepressants. This is part 4. Sometimes we get into a subject or content and we just get buried in it sometimes, which is fine because we want to answer questions. We want you to have all the information, but it does get drawn out sometimes because, again, we want to be thorough. We want to give you everything that you need on that topic. So this is antidepressants part 4. If you've not listened to parts 1 to 3, you can jump back or just catch them afterwards. You get all the information either way. And hang around. We're giving away free stuff. We'll be right back.
This sounds like something for the authorities in Detroit.
Well, joke's on you. I'm living to 102 and then dying, like the city of Detroit.
Guys like this antique over here out of Detroit.
Spawn and the Hellfires of Motown. Take him to Detroit.
No! No, not Detroit! No! No, please! Anything but that! No!
Stationed in Drambuie. It's worse than Detroit.
We did not have, as a unit, the confidence that we felt like we needed to beat Detroit.
Let's go to Detroit. Now you're talking, brother.
I don't think so. He plays for Detroit now.
Do they have many farms in Detroit?
Detroit. It's in Michigan.
I go to school. I know where Detroit is.
Get ready for the Motor City Hypnotist, David R. Wright, originating from the suburbs of Detroit, Michigan. He has hypnotized thousands of people from all over the United States. David R. Wright has been featured on news outlets all across the country and is the clinical director of an outpatient mental health and hypnosis clinic located just south of Detroit, where he helps people daily using the power of hypnosis. Welcome, the Motor City Hypnotist, David R. Wright.
What is going on, my friends? It is David Wright, the Motor City Hypnotist, and we are back with another episode of the Motor City Hypnotist podcast.
You better be.
Yes, we are. That is Matt Fox, the other voice you hear. We're hanging out here in the Palatial Podcast Your Voice Southfield Studios.
Thank you for that.
Again, big shout out to Podcast Your Voice. If you guys out there, I know I do this every few episodes, but it's well worth doing because if you want to do a podcast, there's podcasts for everything right now. Any subject, any topic, any interest. Somebody out there wants to hear about it.
What type of aglets do you have on your sneakers?
I have no idea what that is.
Great Odin's Raven. What in blazes are you talking about?
The end of your shoelaces?
Yeah.
Those are called aglets.
Okay. I don't know. What is that? Plastic?
It's plastic.
Yeah, probably. Probably plastic.
They're on podcasts about shoes and
yeah, for sneakers. Yeah,
and sneakers.
I ain't listening to you no more.
I'm not kidding. All right.
Like this in the background. What the fuck is it with you?
To your point.
Yes.
Anybody could do a podcast about anything, and that's where Podcast Your Voice comes in.
Absolutely. And Podcast Your Voice is fantastic. You come in, you sit down, you do your stuff, you leave. They handle all the back end, all the technical stuff, all the uploading. You don't have to worry about any of that nonsense. Sit down, do your podcast, and leave.
Yeah.
Aces.
Oh, thank you. Have you seen Tick in the past? Aces.
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
Because of aglets?
Yeah, for some aglets. So let me tell you, folks, where you can find me. My website is motorcityhypnotist.com. Now is the time. Prom and grad season are upon us. People are booking every day now. So if you need entertainment, a hypnotist for your prom or grad night lock-ins, now's the time to book.
Did you have an overnight party when you graduated?
No, we never had that back in the day.
See, I did, and it was the senior after prom overnight party back in the 90s. All right, I'm going to age myself. We had the overnight. Yeah, we had the overnight party.
Yeah,
and it was a blast.
Yeah,
it was a poker night.
Did you have a hypnotist?
We did.
Oh, okay.
We actually did, and it was a blast.
Was he or she good? Well, I know it's high school. It's hard to decipher who's good and who's not when you're just watching. But
I will plead the fifth because I wasn't there for it. I was doing something.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we won't go anymore. So anyway, if you need to book a hypnotist for your event, now's the time. MotorCityHypnotist.com/shows. You can have a quote within minutes. You can book within minutes. My social media links, Facebook and YouTube, are both Motor City Hypnotist, and Snapchat, Instagram, and TikTok are Motor City Hypno, HYPNO. And as we've done all the way back to episode number 1, text the word hypnosis to 313-800-8510. Within a few moments, you'll get a text with a PDF download, a free hypnosis guide that I've written. And you'll also get a link to my Google page. If you could please leave a review, that would be greatly appreciated.
Please.
And wherever you're listening to the podcast, whether it be iTunes or Spotify, whatever platform you're on, leave a review there as well, because that really helps us out. It helps us grow the podcast and get in front of more people, and more people catch on. I really appreciate it.
Please.
So it is time, Matt.
Here we go.
That's how winning is done.
All righty.
I look across the table and I see a beautiful puppy.
Yep.
With a gray face.
You do.
With his tongue hanging out.
Uh-huh.
All right, bring it.
Okay. It's a little sad story, but it's also cool. It's also good.
Okay.
The state of Sao Paulo, Brazil, recently passed a law in honor of a famous loyal dog that will allow residents to have their pets buried in their family cemetery plots.
Finally.
Bob, nicknamed Bob Gravedigger, was an orange dog who spent 10 years living next to the grave of his owner after attending his funeral at Sarah Cemetery.
Okay, so the dog's
owner died
10 years ago.
Yep.
And the dog spent 10 years at that
at
spot.
the grave. Yes.
Wow.
Brazilian media reported that even after several attempts by the deceased next of kin to take Bob home, he would find a way to slip out of his house and return to the resting place of his master.
I love this dog.
Bob Gravedigger eventually became a fixture of the cemetery, getting his own green doghouse from which he would emerge to comfort mourners on funeral days. People who were saddened by burying their loved ones would manage a smile when the little dog who was crazy about balls tried to play, said local animal rights charity Patre in a statement. Bob Gravedigger, the dog, died in 2021 after being hit by a car.
Oh, goodness.
And inspired by the story of his truly undying loyalty, the Sao Paulo state legislature passed the so-called Bob Covero Gravedigger law.
Could they have not come up with a better name? At least,
yeah, I
But
don't know
go
why
on.
it's Gravedigger.
I'm so happy that this dog is trying to provide emotional support.
Right.
Be like, hey, it's okay. I can still we
Yep.
can still play.
Yep.
Go on.
That's it. That's the story.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
it. So the dog, his owner dies, and he spent 10 years at his grave.
And within
Before he died.
Within that 10 years, he would be at the graveyard. People are going through their emotions. They're losing a loved one. And this dog would come up and try to give them some emotional support.
Yes, absolutely.
That is a brilliant dog.
And just
that is a purpose
and
for
just look at him.
Come on. He's orange.
I mean, it's sad because he's deceased.
Yes.
But again, that's the loyalty of a dog.
Yes.
I mean,
oh my gosh.
I mean,
you're tugging at my heartstrings.
I know
man.
it is. It's touching. It's a great story, but it's sad. But it's also it's good. It's
All right. So
yeah,
my partner Holly.
Yeah.
Her service dog Preston.
Yeah.
He was and I know I've mentioned him a number of times on our show on the podcast.
Yeah.
He was the smartest human being I had ever met.
Mm-hmm.
The way he took care of Holly and the way that he was always there and he knew what was needed, not just for Holly, but for everybody in the household. This dog, Bob, took it upon himself to reach out to everybody in humanity that was coming to that gravesite to mourn their loved ones.
Yeah.
I am in love with this puppy.
Yeah. Yeah. What a great creature. And
thank you for continuing his legacy through this podcast.
Absolutely. Just to kind of just it's just a great story. And like I said, I know it's a bit bittersweet and it's a bit sad, but it's a great story.
He's got a legacy. He has a legacy.
You're right. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Definitely winner of the week.
Thank you.
That's how winning is done.
Yes, it is.
So, back to it.
All right. So we're here, folks, on part 4 of antidepressant medications. Now, I know sometimes what starts out to be a 2-episode subject might turn into 3 or 4. But that's fine, because
did you think it would go 4 episodes?
I thought it could, because there's a lot of questions.
Okay, so
and that's Matt, why I appreciate you being here. Who I mean, you're not in the mental health field per se.
I'm not, and I'm a layman.
But that's okay, because you would have the same questions a lot of my clients would have.
And I'm here to represent the folks that would have those questions.
Absolutely.
To the point where it's exhausting sometimes for you, and I'm not.
No, it's okay, because if we cover it here, then less people have to ask.
But sometimes I think the questions that I ask are folks are questions that I'm like, would people really ask this? Are they intelligent enough? Do they have the emotional intelligence?
Some people would.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
But can you, as a therapist, drive people to ask those questions?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Whenever I talk about medication, I'm like, what questions do you have? What can I answer for you?
But can you drive them down a specific path?
If that's the best thing for them.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's me. That's the layman in me.
Right.
I'm like, okay, so I don't want to be subdued into going down a path. I don't want to be talked into going down a path. I want to be taken down a questionnaire of where am I supposed to be with antidepressants.
So here's the way I approach it with clients. If a client comes in, they're severely depressed, say they're feeling suicidal. So let's take an extreme example. Okay. Somebody who's having thoughts of self-harm. I will say to them, listen, I said, your safety is my number one priority. And we're going to talk about a lot of things, and hopefully we'll make progress in therapy, helping you get to a better space. But my main concern is your immediate safety. So I think for now, one of the tools we can implement is medication, just to get you stabilized. Because once that happens, we're able to more effectively work in therapy.
But Mr. Therapist, I've done that already.
It depends on what you've done. What medication were you on? How long were you on it? How did it work?
I was on Wellbutrin for blah, 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 blah.
Okay. So there are many other different classes and types of medications that work differently than Wellbutrin. So if that didn't work for you, there's something that could work for you that might work better. And to kind of eliminate possible side effects, we're going to have you take a gene site test that will tell you physiologically what you're more likely to respond to than others.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I smiled because I'm like,
good.
What about anal leakage? Because it's a thing. People don't like side effects. Okay.
What in blazes are you talking about? I ain't listening to you no
I know.
more.
It's coming on. I know.
Come on, here we go.
That's fine.
Bring it. But people are really worried about side effects.
Well, no, and I get it. And that, and especially with a majority of antidepressants have side effects.
Yes.
Sexual side effects being the primary one that people kind of, and weight gain. That's the other one that people kind of balk at, because they're like, I don't want to gain weight. I'm depressed already. And if I gain weight, it's going to make it worse.
So that's where let's find a routine where you can take 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes of your day to walk up a couple of flights of stairs.
Well, sure.
Right?
I mean, we can always put things in place to counteract whatever these side effects are.
And that's where do I want to put and it comes to putting the work in, and that's a big antidepressant.
And again, I've said this during this series in particular
on
antidepressants. I've said this probably at least 10 times.
Yes.
But the effect of the antidepressant, it's to make you feel better. Now, there may be side effects and there may be some other things that aren't ideal, but it's better that you're alive. Now, clients may sometimes not feel that way.
Right.
Again, it's kind of that
because okay, so you're with antidepressants, it's affecting one's brain chemistry. It's they're weaning off one to go on another, but you need to throw some other chemicals into the brain to help them feel better. When it comes to weight gain, okay, endorphins are a great thing to bring somebody's mental stability up.
Yep.
When it comes to endorphins, it's going to the gym, it's working out, it's doing a couple of sit-ups in the freaking morning, right?
Self-care. I talk about self-care all the time, Matt. This is with every client. I'm like, what are you doing for self-care? And sometimes people be like, what is that? and
that's that's
which
a general,
is fine.
which is great, but they're asking.
It's something you do that makes yourself feel better. And it could be something as simple as reading a book or watching a movie. It doesn't have to be complicated. It's just something that you enjoy. And that's why I really, when I work with clients, I always kind of say, what hobbies do you have? What do you do in your free time? What do you enjoy?
Sure.
I mean, it could be maybe you play an instrument, maybe you play video games, whatever it is, you have to have an outlet for something that just kind of brings you joy.
Cooking, for God.
Cooking. It could be that. It could be anything. Anything that you enjoy doing. It's important that you have that. And you're doing that consistently and regularly in your life.
So yeah, the you need to fire different chemicals in the brain that also react positively to the antidepressants that they're taking. So go on.
So we ended last episode. We were talking about some myths and misconceptions. So we got a couple of more that we want to cover on those, because we talked about it changes your personality, and we kind of talked about that. We also talked about the fact that antidepressants are not physiologically addictive. The other myth that people come to me on, it's like, well, I don't want to take an antidepressant because I'll have to take it the rest of my life.
Well, that goes with any medication that you're on.
Well, depending, again, let's talk about something that's very measurable and very physical, which would be like diabetes.
I've tried.
I know. That's just, there's a spot on the table. I was scratching. I'm like, I don't know what that is, but it's going to be gone in a minute. So let's talk about diabetes. So yes, you may need medication, but you can do things on your own to help improve the symptoms of that.
Yeah, you can eat Honey Nut Cheerios.
I mean, you can
reduce the
your sugar intake,
your A1C.
Right. So there are other things you can do, and the big thing with antidepressants, it's not a cure, it's not an answer. It's something that you do to stabilize you so that now you can better address the issues that are causing your depression.
Right.
That is the important thing. I don't, and some doctors do this, believe me.
Okay.
They just throw pills at people. Here, there you go. I'll see you in 6 months.
That in itself is an epidemic.
Yes, absolutely. And there have been tons of I mean, there's a great documentary on Netflix. I don't know if you've seen it. It's called The Pharmacist.
No, I have not.
Okay. So very quickly, I don't want it doesn't matter if I ruin it or not, because they set it up front exactly the way I'm telling it. But so this guy, he's a pharmacist. He has a teenage son. His teenage son got into drugs, opioids to be specific, and ended up getting murdered on a drug deal. So this pharmacist,
that's worst case
became
scenario,
obsessed with finding out, what is this? What was he looking for? And he traced it back to a doctor. When you watch this, Matt, it's crazy. It's like the fact that it's real is scary.
It's called The Pharmacist.
The Pharmacist.
Okay.
So this doctor would open her office at like 10 p.m. and go until like 5 a.m. And there'd be lines of people outside the door. They would walk in, get their script, and leave. Hundreds of people every day.
I wonder if they were targeting their audience,
So this guy whose son died, he made it his mission to shut this doctor down. So he started taking videos and pictures and documenting everything and taking it to authorities. But the problem is the authorities were already onto this doctor.
Okay.
And he was kind of, in a way, he was sabotaging them, not knowing it. He just wanted justice for his son because he kept going back to the FBI and to the law enforcement saying, here's a video, here's a thing. And they said, just let us deal with it.
Wow.
But anyway, long story short, the doctor got busted.
Okay, good.
Got sent to jail. But this happens a lot. There are a lot of doctors who push pills. So long story short, just getting medication is not the answer.
No.
You have to do something along with it, which is therapy,
and
which is making changes.
And I've said this already. You have to put the work in.
Yes.
If you want results, you have to meet the therapist, the doctor,
Yep.
halfway. And you have to, yes.
I mean, you have to do something.
You
You're
have
right.
to.
Yeah.
Because you're going to change the physiological persona of yourself. If you're willing to take the medication, you need to be able to put the work in.
Yep.
And not just sit back and whatever. It's like weight loss, right?
Yeah.
I want to take a pill.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, again, that's why these weight loss drugs are so huge right now. Wegovy and
GLP-1s.
Yes. Yes.
It's just
and I do feel like they serve a purpose, but you also have to make lifestyle changes.
Yes.
So back to the original point, when I said once you start, you're on them forever. Not necessarily.
No.
I always say to people, the antidepressant is to get you in a state of mind where we can make changes so you don't need the antidepressants later. That is kind of the idea. So a lot of people may need them the rest of their lives, but that's not everyone. And everyone is individual. And that's the big thing to realize, is that just because somebody else may need it the rest of their life doesn't mean you do. So here's the other thing too. And this is kind of just a general across the board black box warning, I guess, if you want to call it, for antidepressants, because sometimes, with certain antidepressants, you may have an increase in suicidal thoughts or behaviors.
Is that a side effect?
It's a side effect. So it doesn't mean that the medication causes this, but it's important that we monitor that when you first start a medication, so that we can keep track of that. So as I said, medication is a tool. It's not an answer. It's not a fix-all. It's not that. So the best approach is medication with therapy. If you're taking antidepressants, even if you're taking anti-anxiety medication, you should be doing therapy.
So does it take a psychotherapist to get back to the root of why one is having said suicidal ideations? Is that a psychotherapist?
I mean, it could be. And the terms are kind of interchangeable, because here's the thing. And just to kind of give everybody kind of an overview of therapists, because therapists can be very different.
Yeah.
There are so many different approaches to therapy. It's like, say, for example, psychoanalysis was coined by Sigmund Freud.
Yep.
Psychoanalysis, let me tell you how that works. We've covered this before.
Hey, Dave, do you have any sexual
you have sexual issues?
Because that's Freud.
Like this in the background. What the fuck is it with you?
But I know. But Freud was very, very focused on the developmental stages.
Sure.
And having, and again, a lot of it was the Oedipus complex, and a lot of it was sexual in nature, because he thought that that's driving a lot of the dysfunction as far as behaviors go.
It's not to be poo-pooed upon, right?
No, but again, so psychoanalysis is an approach. Now, I don't know anybody that's doing that today, because psychoanalysis, the therapist doesn't talk to the client. The client just talks. It's like stream of consciousness. The psychoanalysis writes down all of the things that they're saying, and then they interpret what this person was saying.
Right.
with the idea that the stream of consciousness, there are connections and they're underlying, there are these unconscious thoughts and feelings that need to be addressed.
So from Freud to where we are now,
Yes.
with the amount of technology that we have,
Yep.
with the amount of progress that we have made, and I'm not going to take that away from anybody in any way, shape, or form. The amount of progress that we've made with the type of medications that are out there, there are multiple hundreds of type of medications that someone can take if they are depressed.
Right.
And when it comes to the antidepressants, there are so many options. So how does a therapist, how does a hypnotist in that matter, knowing what their therapist is doing, what their psychologist is doing, what their psychoanalyst is doing, there's so many things involved.
Yep.
How does that all come together to treat that one person?
So let me just give you a generic example.
Please.
Joe comes in to see me.
Okay. Hi, Joe.
He's been feeling depressed. He's been feeling sad. He's had thoughts of self-harm. He's had thoughts of suicide.
Are we talking worst case scenario, or are we talking he's just in the beginning?
Like he's never attempted anything, but these thoughts, these intrusive thoughts keep coming up, and he just doesn't feel happy. He's not happy with his family. He's not happy with his job. He's just in a general sense of malaise and just not caring and not just blah.
Okay, so hear me. Let's talk worst case.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so they've already tried to commit suicide. They've already been there.
Okay, so they've already self-harmed in some way.
And now they want to get better.
Right.
So they've tried 3 different types of medications, and now those they feel they are not working.
Correct.
As you as a therapist, as a practitioner, what do you do in that scenario?
Well, we say, okay, what were these medications on? What class? Where do they fall in going back to episodes 1 and 2? Are they SSRIs? Are they SNRIs? Are they MAIO inhibitors?
Yeah.
So we need to kind of decipher what class of medication you were taking. And maybe that's not the effective one.
Okay.
Let's say that Joe says, well, yeah, I was taking this and this and this, and they were all MAOIs. I'm like, well, maybe we should try an SNRI just to see. So here, but here's the frustrating thing, and I know clients hate this, but I'm honest with them because it's important as a therapist. You got to be honest. I tell them though, a lot of times psychotropic medication is kind of like a crapshoot. You try things until something works. That's not the best approach, but now we do have something, and I've mentioned it in this series.
Yes.
There are a couple of things that we can look at to kind of narrow down what we're looking at as far as medication goes.
Okay.
And I've mentioned gene site testing. This is a blood test that is done that kind of gives you an idea of what class of medication you might have more side effects from than others. So let's say you did gene site testing and the category of SSRIs comes back red. Okay, we want to avoid that class. Let's go to the SNRIs or the MAOIs and try those. So there are ways of kind of narrowing down what might be effective and what might not. But I do have plenty of clients, and I want to be totally honest. I've had a lot of clients who said, I've been on this, I've been on this, I've been on this, I've been on this, and they list 4 or 5 different antidepressant medications.
Sure.
I also want to explore, when were you on these? What was going on during that time? Because a lot of times they've taken a medication for a couple of weeks and stopped. I didn't feel good. It made me feel different, whatever. And I said, okay. So whenever I talk about medication, I always say we want to give it an honest try.
Because it's a tool.
It's a tool. Absolutely. And again, it's a tool that we use in conjunction with therapy, which is kind of the thing that we're probably focusing on. So here's the thing. You come into me, Joe comes in, he's suicidal, he's unhappy, he has no motivation, he sleeps, 16 hours a day. He is not functioning right now well at all.
No.
So we talk about medication. He sees a psychiatrist. He starts taking an antidepressant. But in the meantime, we're also working in therapy with nailing down sleep patterns, exercise, nutrition, social connections. These things have to be in place to get better. along with the medication.
And I have to ask the question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ask about what they have socially? Who do they have that they can depend on?
Who are your go-tos as far as social support or
what's your support network?
Emotional support or mental support?
Yeah. What's your support network look like?
Absolutely. We cover that. Absolutely. And again, I go back to self-care. What are you doing for self-care? You know, somebody who comes to me and says, I have a client, again,
please,
very general, no discerning information, of course.
You're good.
But she goes sometimes a month at a time without showering because it's just so, it just seems like such a big project just to shower.
Okay. So as a layman, as a hygienically clean person,
right?
That's a problem.
Yeah, it is a problem.
That should be a daily, every other day activity that one does. In this day, in this society that we live in, you don't want to walk into an office smelling like cream corn.
This person doesn't work.
I don't care.
But you know what I'm saying. But this is an extreme example of how depression can just sabotage your day-to-day routines.
As an individual who has experienced one who has gone through these things, there were a number of days where there was no hygienically things happening 4 or 5 days in a row. And it's just, it's very discerning to me that we're at a month now.
Yeah.
That breaks my heart.
Yeah.
It really does.
It's sad and it's difficult, but these are the kind of scenarios that come up. Somebody with debilitating depression.
It breaks my heart.
So here's the thing. We've talked the last 4 episodes about antidepressant medication.
This is the 4th.
Yes, this is the 4th. So I want to drive home some things. And this is what I want you to take away from this, because there's this underlying
stigma
to antidepressant medication, any psychotropic medication.
And
absolutely.
I'm being positive.
Nope.
But at the same time, I'm being a layman.
No.
I'm not just like, what's the stigma?
So here's the thing. Depression is a medical condition. It is not something that's your fault. People will often say, I shouldn't feel this way. I don't know why I feel this way. And they self-blame, and they think that there's there's something inherently wrong with them. And yes, there's a challenge there, but it's a medical condition. And if you take antidepressant medications, it's not a moral failure. It's not you saying, oh, I'm a failure, so I need this. That's not that at all. Here's the other thing. Antidepressants, they're not a shortcut. They're not a weakness. It's an evidence-based option in a larger treatment plan, if that makes sense.
Can you repeat that?
It's an evidence-based option in a larger treatment plan. We know antidepressants work. They wouldn't exist if they didn't work.
Fair.
In general. Now, there are exceptions to that. Again, different classes and all of that. But as part of a larger treatment plan, which means therapy, self-care activities, self-help activities such as journaling and
there are things that one can do to bring them back to reality.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So here's the thing. You need to advocate for yourself. If you're having these symptoms, here's the thing. A lot of people will just retreat and isolate because that's the easiest thing to do when you're depressed.
Did you just say give up?
Yes.
Okay.
Retreat and isolate. That most people with depression will have periods where that happens.
So what brings them out of that?
Well,
that state?
It depends. It can come from internally, or it can come from sometimes with a partner or family member,
correct,
or friend.
Interventions
that happen sometimes, and sometimes that is necessary. I get that.
Go on.
No, I'm just going to say the big thing is that you take action. If you're feeling this way, there is help. And I know because if you're depressed, it feels hopeless. So there's no motivation to do anything. It's easy just to lock yourself away and just pine, lay in bed for 20 hours a day. That's the easy thing to do.
You went from 16 to 20.
I know.
Within 2 minutes.
Because that can happen.
Yes.
It's so the important thing is that you take action, and the best thing to do is seek out help from a qualified professional. With therapy, then that can direct you to medication. It can direct you to other activities or other sources or resources that you may use to help yourself. But the important thing is that you take action. And even if it's talking to your partner or your best friend and say, this is what I'm feeling, at least so that you can get some feedback or some encouragement or some direction to kind of put you into a place where you can work on this and become better.
Have any patients that you've heard of felt like they're in a cyclical, just that it's over and over again, different medication, different.
Yes. And that does happen. Yes.
And they just feel like they're not winning.
Right.
For
just
lack
feels
of a
like
better
we're
term.
just redoing.
Yeah.
But and again, there's a caveat here, and again, I want to be very careful. This is not placing blame on anybody.
No,
but sometimes made up before they take the medication, and that it's not going to work.
And there lies the problem.
Exactly, and that's why you want to team or pair medication with therapy, because we have to address those issues too.
And I've never met Dr. Singh, and I'm sure they do a wonderful job. And they treat every single patient, every single person the same exact way. What's going to get them to the next step of feeling better, not getting better, feeling better,
feeling better.
Is that the goal? Is get to someone to that next step of feeling better?
Yes. In general, it's to get somebody to a point where they value themselves as an individual.
Thank you.
That really is
goal.
the key.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
Is get them to the next step to feeling they are themselves. They're back to that person they were when they felt they were the best you.
And they like themselves. They like where they're at.
Sure.
That they find joy in life. And if you can have that, I'm telling you, you're probably ahead of half of the population out there.
Sure.
Just saying. So the big thing is find a mental health professional. That is the key thing.
Thank you.
And talk about medication. Again, I know a lot of people are medication resistant, but hopefully what I've talked about in the last 4 episodes will make you more open to this, because again, it's not a failure. It's not a weakness. It's you using resources to help yourself get better. That is the key.
Yeah. The resources are there. A friend of ours just here, we're talking about veterans.
Yes.
Right? And they're like, if you're a veteran, there are resources that
there
are
out programs,
there.
Tons of them.
If you are an individual that is suffering and need mental stability, not mental health, mental stability. Let me say that.
Yeah.
There are resources.
Absolutely.
And you need to seek them out.
Yep.
And you need to find somebody that is going to help you find said resources.
Yep.
They're not going to get you exactly what you want at that point in time.
No one person is going to fix you.
No.
They're there to help you.
Yes.
They're there to guide you along your journey.
And I think that's the most important statement of these last 4 episodes. You need someone that's going to help you get to that next step.
Absolutely. So,
man, this is
it's a lot. Now, I'm going to throw this out there because again, so next time what we may do is we may dive into the anxiety portion of medication.
And there's a next step.
It's a totally different thing.
It's a next step. It's yes, you have accepted.
Yep.
You have taken on the responsibility of knowing that you have depression. You are taking medication, and there's going to be influences that are going to come at you. And how do you deal with going out in public?
Or let me put it a different way. Maybe you've never been depressed. maybe you've always been fine. You never felt sad.
Okay.
But you've always been anxious.
Ooh. You've
always been worried. You've always been just resistant to talk to people or go out in public, or, agoraphobia. I mean, phobias are anxiety. OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, is anxiety.
I know what you're talking about.
There are so many different branches in anxiety.
All my stuff is lined up over here. I know what you're talking about.
No, I know. Yeah, this OCD. Yeah, right. But here's the thing: OCD doesn't have to be physical things. It can be it can be a mental OCD. And that's the one that's more debilitating.
Mm-hmm.
So,
man,
what we're gonna do? We are gonna. I'll commit to it now since we're here. But we're gonna do our next series on anxiety medications and how and why they work and whether or not you need those
on top of the antidepressants,
or separate.
But no, I was saying, if you're on antidepressants and now you're taking a medication for
you could take anxiety medication with an antidepressant. That's not uncommon.
And I'm trying to build on what you have going on here.
But it could be a standalone too.
And we'll
anxiety medication.
We'll cover both.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll talk about and most anxiety medications without getting too deep into it because we're almost done now. But they're in a class called benzodiazepines.
Okay.
So we're going to do a series, at least an episode or two on benzos.
Okay. Bring it.
So before we go,
who needs a home?
Somebody needs a home.
Is there
Coco?
Oh, damn it! You said it. I was gonna say, can I say their name?
Because that's you didn't see the name?
I saw the name.
Oh, you did.
And that's my favorite. That's my favorite dessert. That's my favorite drink. Cocoa.
There's Coco.
Yep.
Let me move my fingers.
They look like a cocoa.
Coco. Look at those eyes.
Now the ears look like a little bit of pity in there.
Yeah. Shepherd pit bull mix.
Is that called it?
Yep. Female. Estimated size 50 to 60 pounds, full grown, dog friendly, yes. Cat friendly, yes. Kid friendly, yes.
Did you say cat friendly?
Yes. Everything's a yes.
I love that.
Dog, cat, kid friendly.
Bring it.
Activity levels high. Just beware.
All right, fine.
But she's a puppy. She's born in October
of this year.
Yeah. 25.
25.
Yep. So she's only 3 months old, 4 months old.
We're in February. They're 5 months old.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
That is
Coco.
That
needs a home.
That is an adorable puppy.
Isn't she?
She's
beautiful.
Come on.
All right. DetroitDogRescue.com/adopt. That is our episode for today, folks. Join us for the next episode. I'm just throwing it out there. We're going to be talking about anti-anxiety medications on our next episode.
There's a top 10 in there somewhere.
We'll do a top 10 at some point. We haven't done one in a while.
No.
We'll need some subject matter. We'll think about that.
Top 10?
I'll come up with a top 10.
Okay. I'll think about it.
Yeah, think about it. We'll talk about it.
All right.
All righty, folks. That is our show for today. Change your thinking, change your life, laugh hard, run fast, be kind. We'll see you next time.